Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Zanzee from Cathy Cusson. And I hope I pronounced that right. Okay, this is a grid tangle. I'm going to put a little border. Move my little thingy here. It's usually to help keep me on, make sure I'm not going outside of the camera view. That's my aim. All right. All right, then. So I'm just going to do a 4 square. So I'm going to divide this in half and then in half again. Okay. Now, the first step in this is in your grid, we're going to put just a really light dot in the center. And that dot will become part of the pattern. Now, if you look at Cathy's step out, and that will be in the description section under for more inspiration, she calls it figure eights. But what I would rather call it is seeds. Because if I try to do a figure eight, it's just not going to work. So having these little dots helps because I'm going to start at that dot. And I suppose you could just, pick whichever direction you want to go. I'm going so we're going diagonal. And so I'm going like upper left down to the lower right. And a seed, if you don't know, as you can see, I'm just drawing 2 curved lines. So I'm going to do that again here. So from this corner to that dot, a curved line going one direction, and then a curved line going the other direction. It really has the same effect. And then looking at hers, like if I was drawing a figure 8 or just an 8, I mean, my 8s, are like that. So it would not be, it just wouldn't be pretty. All right. And then this way too, if you've been following me, I do like to speak the, or use terms, the essential elements, elemental strokes terms. So I try to do that just because I like to relate everything back to that. I personally think it's important. And so I try to do that when I can. All right. Then, once you have these guys down, and it's, as you can see, it's, all the same direction, right? Then what we're going to do is, and I'm looking at it this way. And you know what? It doesn't matter which way you start. If you want to start the opposite direction, that's fine. We'll just keep it going consistently then. All right, but what I'm going to do is on the right side, I'm going to aura out a little bit from that, that seed. And so this is something you can, if you want to do all of them, you can first. Or you can do what I'm doing, because we're going to just fill it in. Here's another, well, I don't know if I would use a thicker pen because I want to get in right here. And so to use a thicker pen is going to create, it's going to be thick right there. And I want it to come to, more of a point. But that's up to you. Heck, could even, well, if you, one of those, if I thought ahead, could do this side with a thick pen and this side with a thin pen, but then that gets a little complicated. So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate these. And so in this column, so I'm going right, left, and then this one will be right. And let me throw this thought in here as well. If you didn't like the shape of your seed, and usually if it's just too thick, then you can fix it. If it's too if it's too thin, we can't add any, space here that would be white or the original tile color. But because I had this as I was playing with it, where it was, the seed just got a little bit too out of shape, and so when we're doing this fill in, easy to just, you don't even, I had one, I don't think I even had to aura it. I was like, well, I auraed it on the inside and then filled it in. I was like, oh, look at, see, that works. And then just following that same, the same pattern, What's the word? What's the word? Oh my goodness. But the fill-in is just like #1 course corrector. And I say course corrector because if you're new to Zentangle, there's no such thing as one of our primo philosophies. There's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. And so I call them course corrections because I remember hearing a speaker once that talked about, well, I don't know if I can't remember now if it was planes or ships, could be both. You know, it's like if you fly on a straight, what you think is a straight course, and you know, like saying you're going from point A to point B and you draw a straight line, well, things happen that maybe you're not aware of, and you can end up off course without really doing anything. So they talk about making, you know, keeping an eye and making course corrections, and I like to think of it that way, just because. All right, so now that you have that, now I just want to point out, this looks kind of cool just the way it is. It really does. But then what we're going to do next is we're going to do some aura-ing. And so I'm going to start, and did I need to flip that all the way around? No, I could have just started over here. That's so silly. All right. So I'm going to start on we're going to do, I'm just going to start on the thick side. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting at this center, and I'm going to do an aura. And if you don't know what an aura is, it's just an outline. Although this one is a little bit different because we're coming from a point. A lot of times an aura is, you know, where, like if I was going to just trace this entire line, a lot of times we'll just call this aura-ing because it's the best thing that fits. And we're going to continue. And I found, you know, trying to come out of the same space is kind of neat. And then when it gets down here, it's just not going to work. So kind of working down this side. Like that. You know, and it kind of gives this movement. Let's see. One of them I did the aura, and then I just kind of kept working down, and I didn't like it. Actually, it's on step 4 of my step outs, and then I changed it. Although it's not that much. It's because all of these are working down, you know, this seed. But something about having them come out of this same place, at least for a little while, is just gives it some movement, if you will. And then, you know, kind of decide which way do you like working best. I did that first one. I did that one kind of upside down. Now this one I'm doing right side up. Sometimes I change it up just to see if if there's another comfortable place to work from, and always experimenting. And then, as you notice, I was turning the tile as I was working, and that's kind of neat too. All right, and then and so we're just working on, this would be the right side. So starting where that filled in spot is. And then I just have to be careful, you know, when you get up to these lines here to not go over. And this is one where I just kind of found myself, just for a little bit, just like feeling like I'm making it up as I go, which that's normal. And that's okay. But the formula seemed to work well, of sticking with being, you know, coming from that center as much as possible. There was one that I got where I didn't feel like I was growing it out this way, but it's just the way the curve, you know, is landing. But you can play with that and see what you like. Like I said, then there's just a point where you're just naturally kind of coming down this seed like that. Okay, now as I like to say, with a lot of these, could stop right there. That is kind of cool. But we're going to do the same thing on the flip side. So just, and literally the flip side, by flipping the tile, and we're just doing the same thing. And what I like about these kind of tangles is that, the steps are easy, and, you can kind of lose yourself in them, and you don't have to think a whole lot. This one, I am thinking, I'm paying attention to my pen, and watching how I'm doing the aura, and kind of thinking, well, okay, well, the next time I do this, I'm going to try X, and then, I don't know, and just, trying to make it so that it looks like it has some movement, which it kind of does. And then also, working to, I wanted to stay, well, that's okay. Sometimes I get where like this one where the line went up, but it's like, it's okay. The next one, just do it have it come out where it's supposed to be, because I like it when it creates this, it's kind of like shading, because the lines are all together there. I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna try it this way, coming down again. I think I had tried that before, and it seems like my hand maybe likes this a little bit better. I don't know. So, if it's something is not feeling comfortable, there I go, do that again. If it's not feeling comfortable, just try, flipping your tile, thinking about it. Is like, what is it that I don't like anyway? And then see if flipping your pen direction by flipping your, the way it's like there's one thing to go up and another thing to go down. It doesn't seem like it should be that way, but it's just kind of funny. And sometimes I notice that mine is a little different depending on, like what side I'm doing. I don't know. It's just really weird. It's really weird, but then again, that's normal for me. All right. And there we have it. Oh, let's see, move that a little bit. Yeah. And it's just kind of neat because it gives like a whirling, it gives emotion. There was a tangle we did a little while ago called Props, I think it was, and it was supposed to look like propellers. And this kind of really does look like, it kind of gives it that spinning motion. It kind of looks like propellers or a fan a little bit. All right, now for shading, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some on the side where all of these are, where we've worked down the side of the seed. So where they're all kind of looking like they're tucking under this seed. And if you ever feel like if you don't feel confident in the shading, like I don't know where to start, that's one good place to look for. It's like, oh, look at all of those look like they're tucking underneath, and with the curve that helps. And so that's one place to start. Oh, let me get this side too. All right. And I'm just, pulling it out just a little bit because I want it to, I want to have a little bit of a gradient, but sometimes it's kind of nice to have like a short gradient. That's gonna be a term. I'm calling it that, a short gradient. I like to make things up. If you didn't know that, you do now. Okay, and then like I said, flipping and doing the other tile. And I'm doing just some very small circles and a little bit, kind of a combination of little circles and back and forth, because I want to keep it within this grid box. Move that. The light is being kind of bright. Let me dim that for a minute. Yeah. So that's neat. So what it looks like is, it's coming, it's off of here, and it is giving it that motion, of going around. So when I move my hand in front of the light, it's automatically adjusting here, so I apologize for that. But that looks rather neat. Now you could, if you wanted to, could put some graphite, coming out of this a little bit. I'm just using what's left on the tortillon. You know, if you just whatever you want to accentuate, and understanding that when it's the graphite, you know, takes it down. And if this was on a tan tile or something, and we wanted to add, you know, white charcoal or white jelly roll, that brings it up. So you can kind of think of, you know, like without any shading, it's one dimensional, and then adding graphite makes it kind of two, and then adding the light makes it three. Anyway, I'm just making stuff up. Sounds good to me. But no, it is. I mean, I've heard different terms for that same thing. I just think of down and up. And it seems to work. But this is a really cool tangle. And so you could also have fun. I'm picturing some orbs in the center of those. Maybe not. That's up to you. This is where Cathy leaves the tangle. She did have some variations on her step out, so take a look at those. But you know, just like anything, you know, we can have fun decorating. I don't know that I would put other lines, but you know, this is just calling to me, so I'm going to do it while we're here. It's going to look like peas in a pod. And then if we color those in, here, I'll just do the center. But there's all kind of, well, or you could even just do one, you know, of them. That's kind of neat too. But that gives you an idea of what that could look like, because it was killing me. I needed to know. And so therefore I did. But yeah, I mean, other small, you know, tangles or patterns that you might want to put in there, and you don't have to. It is nice a lot of times just to leave it the way it is. And you know, it just depends on you. That is all that there is to it. And so, and let me just finish these, because apparently I can't think and talk and do orbs at the same time, and I'll fill in those little spaces. But that gives it a neat look too. Very cool. So, neat tangle. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, oh, actually I can say that while I'm calling these in. If you enjoyed it, would love to have you, you know, give us a thumbs up. The whole like, share, subscribe. Yes, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, subscribing to the channel is of course free. And if you do that, make sure to hit the notification bell, so that way you can decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. I like to say that because I know myself, I don't necessarily want to be notified, and because I don't want a bunch of, you know, pop-ups on my phone and on email and whatnot. So I just like to let you know that you can decide how you want to be notified. And also in the description section under the step outs are ways to connect with me. So if you enjoyed this and you know, so if you like my style and you want to come join me for a class or two, I do both free and paid classes. They're mostly free. And I'm thankful to my Tangle Addicts Club members who, and that information is also on my website if you'd like to join that. And because being a club member, not only do you know that you are supporting my efforts here for the free stuff that I do, but everything that I put out paid. So I do at least one class a month right now paid. You get that. Right now it's at a discount, but at some point when I have my program a little bit more solid, then I'm going to cut off the founding member plan. But right now, as of the time of this recording, it's still on. So if you are interested, do check it out. I much appreciate that, because it just helps. And with that, again, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.